AskReddit by Throwdowntown69. A popular saying is nothing I ever lost on the internet, but what is something you have been searching for years and you haven't found it yet? Edit 2. Huge kudos to Youve on Jaylee for finding it into the National Film Board. https://www.nfb.ca/anti-smoking-film/playback/1 for keeping it. This one comes from my mom. A Canadian, or American, based in Ontario, so we got any us channels, anti-smoking cartoon from the 70s or 80s, where a guy is smoking and says I should quit. This will be my last cigarette if I see a woman in a fur coat and one immediately walks by, so he says, wearing green shoes and one does, and then walking a dog on a diamond leash. Actually, it was a tiger, and then when a woman in a fur coat wearing green shoes walking a tiger on a diamond leash walks by, he crushes his cigarette up and the tagline goes, "What will it take for you to quit?" Been looking for it for ages and haven't been able to find it yet. Edit, put in proper sequence, and clarified that it could have been on Canadian or American television, based in Ontario. I remember this. The night that Tony Hawk did the first 900 back at the 99X Games, they played a music video like thing with Feed as the perfect day showing all his misses and then finally the hit. It basically doesn't exist and it bothers me. Have you tried tweeting at him? If there's anyone who would have a video archive of the X Games, it's Tony Hawk. A quote from a book, maybe Lundy Bancroft, about how to get a friend out of an abusive relationship. I want the original source. I believe it was in a Q&A format that ran a bit like this in ideas, but not phrasing. Q. My friend is in an abusive relationship, but she won't allow us to help her leave it. How do we safely get her out? A. You don't. You need to offer her the opposite of what her abuser is, choices. Allow her to socialize with whom she wishes, even her abuser, because he's probably isolating her. Forgive her for being flaky, because he may not be. Allow her to choose for herself even if you disagree with the choice, because that's the opposite of what he's doing. She has to decide to leave by herself. Why does he do that? Inside the Mind of Angry and Controlling Men by Lundy Bancroft. This old French website that hosted these pixel clip art versions of Disney characters. Because the outlines were single pixels wide and there was no compression, little me could save them and recolor or edit them in MS Paint easily. I basically made a whole drag and drop dress up game in Paint using their Tinkerbell and Jasmine. Like, I don't have much use for it these days, but I look for it occasionally just for nostalgia purposes. Last time I used that site, I must have been like 12, it's been well over a decade. An Antique Roadshow episode where the appraiser asked the owner if they had cleaned the priceless Milanese helm. They responded, I hit it with a lol lemon pledge, and the appraiser visibly shivers. I think this is why https://newpost.com/2000/04/another-roadshow-episode-out/closed bracket you can't find the episode. Looks like they pulled it. There was a quote that I read on the title of a post that went something like, "Just because you've gone down 90% doesn't mean you can't go down another 90%. It's related to the stock market and can also apply to life. I've wanted to find out who said that for the longest. Was it a post from our cryptocurrency? In the thread they talk about going down another 90%. https://reddit.app.link/dppf0nb7k2 This quote. Now imagining it dropping another 90%, which it has already proven it can. IUM equals Android app and amp, UTM source equals share. Edit, I added this post because they talk about sunk cost fallacy. This, very much, relates to relationships, work, and banking. That song I can kinda hum, but only know one word to, and to Google song lyrics plus love would clearly be ridiculous. Have you tried this website? You hum and it finds songs for you. https://www.midomi.com/ An electronic copy of the Machine Gun Dealer's Bible, which I bet a co-worker years ago I could find. In an effort to prevent myself from owing him $5, I am still looking for it. Deleted. In 2003, there was a commercial for I think E-Trade where a CEO retires and hands the company over to his stoner bro grandson whose entire press conference is him saying I'm so stoked. Everyone dumps the stock immediately and the ad was about how quickly you could trade using E-Trade. My family loved that commercial to the point where we had shirts made that said I'm so stoked. I have looked through a lot of commercial compilations in YouTube, but have still never found that ad. Didn't find the commercial, but I did find an old forum post, https://forums.anyone-know-the-commercial.10534115/closed bracket searching for the same thing. Either you've been searching for a long time, or you're not the only one wondering. Around 1999 I had borrowed a digital camera from school and took a lot of pictures of friends and stuff. It was back when people really didn't carry around cameras except for special activities. I remember uploading them to my brother's university Unix shell account to share with some people, but when he graduated and that account closed I lost access and didn't have any backups. Really wish I still had those photos. Nobody has them. I've been there, man. I was doing some data recovery on my mother's old computer after she passed away and came across a partial backup I don't remember making of a memory card I'd lost back in 1999. Handful of pictures of my friends and I that I'd been sure were gone for good. Just wish I had the rest. I spent about 10 years searching for a woman I went to university with. I lived with her for 2 years and we were good friends. She was just not too hot at being contactable. Like the sort of person who loses their phone every few months so just gets a new one with a new number. Anyway, she had zero web presence so was practically impossible to track down, but I figured maybe one day she would make herself known. Well, one day she did. Turns out she got married and had a young kid, and lived about 3 hours away. We spoke on Facebook for quite a while, and I thought I'd see if she wanted to meet up sometime. And then she died. It turns out she just made a Facebook profile to contact her old friends one last time and see how they were doing. She never even told me she was ill. Sometimes she pops up in my dreams and we have a chat there. I tried to find the browser games I played when I was a kid. Some of them no longer exist. https://lostmedia-wiki.com/pastopia_open-partially_online_games:/2011-2011 I sank an embarrassing amount of hours into flash games as a kid in the early 2000s. I remember a website called Addicting Games, which would post new games every day, week or something. The internet before big streaming sites like YouTube was weird. A Reddit comment about a person who didn't know they had schizophrenia until they moved. When they lived in their apartment they had a noisy neighbor, a radio that kept playing in another unit, and could hear their upstairs neighbor constantly walking across the floor, but then they moved to a standalone house and they could still hear all the noises from the apartment. I remember the phrase insidious schizophrenia in there somewhere. Very haunting and well written, but I haven't been able to find it again. All the shitty Fruity Loops music I made in my early 20s that was on MySpace. Deleted. Deleted. Could it be Jones in the fast lane? Here's a video about it by LGR. https://yahoo.be/yjq8lyoml3e. This video I think I found on Vimeo of these guys working at a bong shipping facility. Apparently a customer requested a video of the process of putting together their new order for shipping. These two guys put together a great video with them dancing to Maniac by Michael Cimbello throughout it. I'd love anyone who can find what I'm talking about. I fucking know these guys. I'll give you the link in a minute. As requested, https://youve.be/vuxjfof-b2-0. Edit, I linked the company but that might be breaking the rules. An American, I think, movie I saw as a kid about a girl in the country and her cousin? A guy that was in a wheelchair that refused to go out. 90s, maybe 80s? Lots of golden hour scenes and bright photography. Edit, it was primo baby. Thank you informal wish. There's the 80s Hallmark version of The Secret Garden that was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. https://www.youtube.com/watch?wnwpicwns right square bracket open bracket https://www.youtube.com watch v=vow nwpicwns. My grandpa used to have this screensaver idle screen on his computer that was a little paint to window washer guy who goes around the screen cleaning painting. As a kid I'd watch it for hours, thought it was super relaxing. Pretty sure it was light blue, and the little guy was wearing all white. Not sure on any other details. I hope you'll be super relaxed once again. https://www.softpedia.com/get/screensavers/monitor-washer.html. The Tinator. It would take any web page and change it to seem like Mr. T had written it. It was so funny to do it to news sites like CNN. Wow, I came to post this, and did a Ctrl+F and you had posted it. Thought it was hilarious at the time. Here's the page on archive.org, https://web.archive.org/20030920000503/http://firefly-sparse-org but of course it doesn't work. The full series of Pirates of Dark Water. Edit, for those posting torrent links, I appreciate it but I'm on mobile as my laptop is DOA. Edit 2, apparently I can torrent on my phone. So I will have to get an SD card with a lot of storage and check this out as soon as possible. Edit 3, wow thanks everybody, this is officially my highest upvoted comment ever. I bought the series on eBay back in the early 2000s. It came on a very obviously self-printed DVD and case. I'm pretty sure there were only 2 seasons or so, and it never resolved anything. Was a great show, though. Age editor. Deleted. It's a sketch from a group called Summer of Tears. They ended up using it as a vignette in their pilot. https://vimeo.com/105654143. Con Air bit starts at about 4:30. Still a great sketch. Edit, thanks for the gold. I'd say kind stranger, but I'm fairly certain it's from you I said. If not, well, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. A desktop wallpaper I had back in 2009 to 2010ish. It was some digital art of a female with her face sticking halfway through a vertical waterline with goldfish floating about. Her hand was also in the frame and she had thin gold hoop bracelets on. It was such a dreamy piece of art. I miss it. This one, https://www.artstation.com/artwork/gelq close bracket. Local bands from the 90s. None of that music is anywhere. Dude, if you remember the names of any of the band members, just message them somewhere and be like, so, about them tunes I found what I thought to be a sort of popular thrash band in a discount bin in a used CD store. I listened to it and it was insanely heavy. I bought it for about $0.20. Once I looked over the liner notes and realized the email was a fucking @Yahoo address, I realized I was dealing with a really old local band. Upon reading a bit more, I realized I was dealing with a really old local band from fucking Canada. I live in Tennessee. Us. I looked up the lead vocalist's name on Facebook, found him, messaged the guy, and simply asked for more tunes. He laughed, said no one had mentioned that band to him in at least a decade, but sent me the info to contact their old drummer to get the full discography. The drummer was also amused. I also checked out their other band. Long story short, contact some folks. You never know what you'll turn up. There was a song that played on the radio in 2004 alternative rock station, 105.7 The Point in St. Louis. The song was either called Unchained or the band was called Unchained. I heard it maybe a couple times. I've never, ever been able to find the song again. Any band called Unchained has never put out the song, nor has any song called Unchained been the right one. It's frustrating. If I do hear it again, now 15 years later, I am not 100% sure I will recognize it. Eugene Gestural found it. https://www.youtube.com/watch?CJP3w3WLB9y right square bracket open bracket https://www.youtube.com watch v equals CJP3w3WLB9y. Thank you. Hi neighbor. Maybe not the exact thing, but a start. https://www.discogs.com/artist/1876226-unchained- to right square bracket open bracket https://www.discogs.com artist/1,876,226 Unchained 2. There was a VH1 show called Rock of Ages in the late 90s early 2000s. They filmed one episode in my house, and my two oldest kids are in the episode. I have never been able to find it online, and I know it aired because we watched it when it did. Google search brings nothing. It like the whole series didn't exist. An extremely baffling video I saw maybe 7-8 years ago that shipped Daisy Duck and Jafar together set to Love the Way You Lie. I just need to know that exists and wasn't some fever dream. This one is a personal grudge now because they won't email me back. The website https://www.adavar.ca/up until maybe 2014 or so had a smooth jazz with sax song playing in the background. I absolutely loved it, and would frequently go to that website and just listen to it when I was feeling down, and maybe just look at cute cats too. They remodeled their website years ago and the song went away. I've emailed them multiple times, to multiple addresses on the site, with no luck. I've even spent time skimming through smooth jazz YouTube compilations looking for the song. I miss it. Deleted. Take a look at the angriest cinnamon bun. About 12 years ago I was on a random chat site and scrolling through profiles, never spoke to anyone. And suddenly I found a picture of myself. But it wasn't me. I looked and looked at the picture and the only reason I knew it wasn't me was because the clothes this person was wearing was different and I didn't own anything like it. But other than that, this was my twin, from the shade of the teeth right down to the eyelashes. Jawline, smile, nose, everything. Even the smallest of details were identical. I couldn't send her MSG to tell them because their profile was blocked for messages. I saved several pictures from the profile on my old PC, but lost them when we got rid of the computer. Really wish I still had those pictures. Really wish they had MSG enabled so I could tell them about it too. My writing portfolio. I spent 6 years writing for a now defunct sports team's website. Some of the stuff on WordPress is still around but the rest is gone. Check the Wayback Machine's archives. See if they have a scrape. A computer game I played as a kid. I remember very little of it, but it was one of the things I remember most of my childhood. This would have been circa the mid-90s, Windows 95 era, and it was a ROM game or something that came with the computer. All it was these little scenes you could choose, and then you click on different things and they become animated. The one I remember most was a creepy castle scene. You click on a window and a pair of red eyes appeared in it. You click the sky and there'd be thunder and lightning. If anyone has any recollection of this, please let me know. This is my biggest internet white whale. Edit. Wait, I'm the top comment in a thread with 28,000 comments? Damn. I owe you all one of the best glasses of sweet tea you'll ever have. Stop by sometime. Giant thanks to you Detective Oaks for helping me figure out something I have spent years searching for. This reminds me of Launchpad Desktop for Kids, which my mother installed on my computer at some point. Here's a video I found on YouTube that might have that scene. I'd watch it myself but I need to get back to work. https://m.youtube.com/watch?xdizY-jjxc. A sculpture of Santa Claus sitting on his throne with a glittery but otherwise empty removable snow globe on a pedestal next to him. I've searched for years. All because young me accidentally broke mom's brand new expensive Christmas gift. As a mom, let me tell you, the fact that you remember this incident would be so touching. If one of my kids remembered breaking something of mine and was still, years later, trying to make it right, I would feel so loved. Like, my kid remembered making me sad and cared so much about my feelings that they were still thinking about it years later. Amazing. So, unless your mom is particularly hung up on that specific thing, let her know that you remember and are still thinking about it. A saved Reddit post which was a collection of paranormal creepy AskReddit threads which I accidentally removed from my saved posts. Deleted. Deleted. Maybe try the Wayback Machine? Not sure if they can archive stuff behind logins. I think you'd need to know the URL of the blogs to find anything. The archive team, not related to archive.org, also archived a lot of Tumblr last year due to a change in TOS banning porn, so there's a non-zero chance they got it. An educational, I think, video game we had at school. It started with a professor in a helicopter in a jungle. I think there was some kind of laboratory too. This was in the UK in the 90s. I've googled all combinations of descriptions and keywords I can think of and I try it again every few years but still can't find the game or anyone who also remembers it. Edit. Used in a boom. Gerald may have figured it out as Mission Control V2. It has the drinks dispenser game we can all remember. Any chance it was this? Brain. Around 20 years ago, I found a very interesting website describing, in detail and with lots of sources and examples, how humanity and civilization would benefit from a complete overhaul and remake of the 24-hour day and 7-day week. That we should extend the 24-hour clock to something else, so that a week would be comprised of 5 days instead of 7. I can't remember the details now, but it was a very interesting read, and sounded very reasonable, but of course practically not doable. I've tried to find that site many times, but it seems lost in time. This reminds me of QNTM's pages on why calendar reform is a bad idea. It's not what you're looking for, but maybe you'd find them interesting reads too. So you want to abolish time zones? https://qntm.org/abolish . You advocate a approach to calendar reform? https://qntm.org/calendar . That one porn video. Yeah, it's not fun to admit it, but there is a certain porn video that I haven't been able to find in years. There was this one movie show I saw as a small child circa 1996 that featured a group of costumed people that slid down a playground slide into another reality. At some point, this young woman is in a subway car as a human-sized fork and spoon sing to her. Neither friends nor family believe me when I say this exists. It is my internet white whale. Help me, Reddit, you're my only hope. I'm not sure about the fork spoon thing, but the We Sing series of kids movies from the 90s often featured kids sliding down slides into other worlds. We Sing in the Big Rick Candy Mountain, We Sing in Sillaville, etc. That one video where it's someone running through stock footage, replicating when an action movie goes through its entire budget in the entire last scene, and it ends with a woman crying, and a general satisfied. This https://yahoo.be/chjdfh2ozo. The whereabouts of my favorite teacher, even social media can't give me a clue. Helped me through a very hard time in my teenage years. Thank you. Wherever you are, I hope you're well and enjoy life to the fullest. There was an Our Relationships post about a guy who had an argument with his partner about sweet pickles having sugar in them, while she insisted that they were just pickles that are sweet. I always wanted to see if there was an update, but I could never find the post again. Why the hell didn't either of them bother to just read the ingredients list? The movie where dinosaurs have to eat cereal to turn into nice cartoon dinosaurs. Is that We're Back? A dinosaur story? I watched that movie 1,000 times when I was little. Wang Chung did a cover of Modest Mouse's Third Planet for AV Underground that was pretty good. It's apparently been wiped from the internet and it's a shame cause I want to listen to it again. It bums me out.